Hello, good evening, and welcome to Air to Ground Farms Live Monday night. Woohoo.
Woohoo. We're so glad you guys are here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it is cold in the Ozarks, and we often get asked, especially from our Florida friends, how do your animals survive and even thrive in the cold weather? Well, it's really cool. God designed them to be that way. And we're going to talk through each of the different animal groups tonight and sort of what's key to think about with each of the different groups. And I don't know, some maybe tips or thoughts that we have for each one of them.
Yeah. Before we get to that, though, let's do a little bit of a farm update. It's been pretty quiet around here.
Yeah.
Really, it's just kind of getting into winter maintenance mode.
Since we chatted last Monday, all of the different animal groups, everybody is doing fine.
Yeah.
The piglets are the smallest little animals on the farm right now, and the cold weather last night didn't really affect them. Went out and fed them this morning, and they're all huddled up in the hay, burrowed in their little nests, and even the smallest 1-week-old piglets were cozy and warm, and all was really good with them.
Move the beef cows off of one of our pastures and move where they're going to spend probably several months of us unrolling hay. It is a pasture that we have been working on for the past almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Unrolling and treating it, and it has become a pretty nice little pasture,
yeah,
actually. And so they're there. That we'll talk about what that provides for them for the winter, but they're moved and getting hay and have their salt and mineral over there with them. Anybody else?
We did spend some time, Huck and Rebecca on yesterday, I guess it was, spent some time getting the farm ready for the cold weather. We've been in full, springtime, summertime ops, and it's now time to transition as we get deep into fall into wintertime ops.
The biggest issue that we have, and most farmers have, especially when you farm multiple species, is water. Everything about winter is all about water and keeping water at the animals accessible and not frozen solid and keeping it moving. So they worked really hard getting all of the hoses cleared and kind of rerouting a few things so that it makes it to where, they have wintertime water. But we'll get to some of that again, I think, probably here shortly.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that kind of covers it, except for one bit of for right now. One of the waterers is for our dairy cows is right behind our house. And when we built the house, to access the water that was already on the farm, we tapped into that water right there, came off of it, and then did our water line to the house. Well, at some point this afternoon/evening, that waterer blew a line down in the where the water goes to the cattle waterer. But unfortunately, because our house is tied into it, we had to turn that off because it was flooding the area. It was we have a lot of pressure there, so it was like a fire hydrant just kind of going off. So we had to turn the water off. So as of right now, we have no water to the house, and it's weird because when you don't have any water, all of a sudden you get really thirsty and you need to pee.
Right. Every time.
I will go into panic every single time. Like, oh no. So we're kind of without water, but we know what's wrong. We know probably most likely where it broke at a fixture that has happened before on other water systems. And we'll fix it first thing in the morning.
I did a video on fixing the water. I don't know, maybe a year ago.
I don't know, maybe a year ago, because at any rate, it's a common fail place on this particular way we have it set up.
Yeah.
Right. Electrolysis happens, metal corrodes, and then you get breakage. Right.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's exactly what happens.
So we'll fix that in the morning.
Well water with lots of minerals and the thin metal
Fortunately, it's going to be probably 20 degrees when you're out there having to fix it.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. When I said good evening and, chilly Monday, this morning it was 23 degrees, wind chill was 13. Tomorrow morning is supposed to be exactly the same. So it's definitely our coldest snap so far of the year.
But it won't last. We're going to get up into the 70s again next week. So this is a bit of like a okay, winter is coming.
Yeah.
It's kind of gotten us motivated into getting all of the things ready.
Yeah, for sure.
Animals.
Well, let's say some hellos.
A little roll call.
We've got Farmhand Huck saying hello from top of the hill. Much warmer up here than down at the barn. So our farm is basically 3 levels. We have the top of the hill where the RVs sit, and then our house and my mom and dad, Nana and Papa's RV is on sort of a mid-level, and then down like where the pigs are down in our bottom area is the lower level. And it's at least 5 degrees difference between each level. So if it's, 30 degrees up at the RVs where Huck and Rebecca are, it's probably closer to 20 degrees where the pigs are. And it's just interesting the way that the cold sink happens, especially in
Hey, you just mentioned Nana and Papa. Can I do a little thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so quick shout out, okay? So Nana and Papa are on a new adventure, and they have started, Nana primarily, but Papa co-starring, they have started their own YouTube channel, and it's called Old School Nana, and she is over there cooking away and reading to the kids and showing old school food and old school ways and just really passing on information and older traditions. And it's really fun to watch. She just started her YouTube channel. She's killing it already. I'm like, shoo. And so I would encourage anyone watching this to just go over and check it out. I think she's got a video coming out pretty soon where she and our youngest, Michaela, got in the kitchen and were cooking together.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Go over there and check that out. Old School Nana.
We've got Phil saying happy Monday, cold but sunny, a good day.
Yeah.
Anna says hello from Florida, a balmy 43 degrees for me.
What? Well, 43 in Florida is, that's chilly.
Yeah, it's getting down there. And then Susie Q. Martin saying hello, snowing here in Indiana and freezing.
Mom and Dad, when they left North Carolina this morning when they left, they went on a quick trip up there. And she said it was flurrying when they left.
Wow.
Yeah, in the mountains.
Yeah. Angels Homestead says evening from Western Oklahoma. We've got Ronald saying howdy y'all. Carol saying hello from Harleysville, Pennsylvania, and great job on the new rabbit barn.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we still have a little bit more work to do on it. But
Yeah.
we're getting there, plugging away.
We didn't put the rabbits on this list of things to talk about.
Because we don't know how to take care of them.
Yeah, we
kidding.
do. So
it was a joke.
I know, but we can talk about them real quick because really we put them. We took the 3 that are out in a rabbit tractor on pasture yesterday evening, and we put them into the rabbit barn. We've got one set of cages put together, but not hung yet. And we went ahead and put them in the cages in the barn just to get them out of the wind. And that's the most important thing for rabbits is get them out of the wind.
They're wearing fur, and we kept all 3 of them together, and they're in a kind of a smaller space, so they'll huddle up and keep warm and be happy until we can get their digs all finished.
We got Firefox Kitty saying greetings from Arizona, where it's getting down to the low 60s at night and
That's
the
so pleasant.
high 80s during the day.
That's a really pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anna says, hey, y'all, YouTube throws 2 commercials at me whenever you start.
What?
So, sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah,
what to
that's
do about that.
YouTube. YouTube Premium will make it where you don't have commercials, and other than that,
We have zero control over what YouTube does with the time.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Becca says hello from top of the hill. We've got Hooligan saying hello from Chris and Kira in Arkansas.
Hi, guys.
Anna saying I may have committed a typo. I'm at 54 degrees now.
That's not that bad.
And Mayor saying East Coast Canada rain like a bugger today.
Oh, wow. I bet it's kind of cold.
You mentioned that. I spent a week in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
As I was returning from Las Vegas. I had a 6-ship of F-15Es, and our tanker fell out on us, and they dropped us. We had a aerial refueling tanker that was dragging us across the North Atlantic, and one of the tankers' maintenance canceled on us, so we were able to get as far as Gander, Newfoundland, and we dropped into Gander. We had been in Las Vegas and Louisiana and did not have any, this was in March, we did not have any warm or cold weather gear. When we arrived in Newfoundland, it was like, I don't know, the snow drifts were about 12 feet high, and none of us had coats or anything. It was crazy. We ended up spending a week there, and it was crazy cold.
How often do you guys refuel when you're going from Las Vegas back to England? How many times would you have to refuel a fighter jet with a
I think we refueled 12 times.
Oh, so because you have to keep a certain amount of fuel in your airplane.
Yep.
And so when they don't show up, you just like, well, we can't go.
Yeah, when we're the farthest away from land, you basically, the 6th ship, somebody is always on the tanker.
Oh,
so somebody's constantly refueling because you always have to have divert fuel. So from wherever you are, you have to be able to fly to land.
Oh,
so
that's smart.
Yeah, right in the middle, you got to basically stay topped up.
Okay. But can you really quick tell about your, we're just going to have a fun conversation. Whenever you guys got there and you didn't have any like maintainers, you're landing your jets, it's icy, snowy, cold.
Yeah.
You didn't have any wheel chocks?
No.
Or not, like, no help?
No.
You're just landed, like, we're here.
I actually couldn't even talk to them because they were listening to VHF radio and we were on UHF radio, and we just
landed?
We flew over the airfield, 6-ship in formation, like, all 6 of us. And that's the way you do it. You fly over saying, hey, we're here.
Hey, we're here.
And pitched out and land, and they shine a green light for you from the tower.
Say, we see you, go ahead.
We see you, you're cleared to land. So we got a green light, cleared to land.
That's so sketchy.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
my God.
we got a green light cleared. It was unscheduled, right? They weren't expecting us, so they don't normally listen to the military frequency that our jets at that time, our VHF radios were very weak. They couldn't hear us. So we got a green light to land, and because there were no ground crews expecting us, as soon as we shut both engines down, you lose hydraulics, which means you lose your brakes. So we landed and shut down the engine, the left side engine, which is where the aircrew stairs are. So we shut down the left engine, and the Wizzos, the backseaters from all of the jets.
Goose?
Yeah, the backseaters from all of 6 jets climbed out with our approach plates. Our publications come in these
like
in
big books.
in big bags.
Yeah, bags.
So they climbed out with the pubs bags and chalked the tires with the pubs bags, and then we could shut down the other motor.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, but then when you took off, it was this kind of the same sketchy situation when y'all finally were like, we got to go. Icy?
You have to have certain braking action in order to taxi and take off, and it was close.
Yeah.
But we were ready to leave.
Yeah. So we left. Enough of that story.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fun. Fun.
Yeah. Sorry. What is Jeannie?
Oh, we're glad you're here, Jeannie.
Says, I'm late. Oops. Old School Nana says, my goodness, thank you for the shout out.
Of course.
Connie says, I'm getting commercials during the live stream. Yep.
YouTube.
That's YouTube.
If you get YouTube Premium, which is what I have on my account, because I'm spoiled, so I don't have to watch. We don't watch any commercials. It costs a little bit, but it keeps us from having to watch commercials.
Yeah. Mayor says, I've been to Newfoundland, beautiful country, more moose than people. We didn't actually see any moose, but it was very cold. Patty says, hi, guys.
Hi.
And Connie says, hello from Fountain,
Florida. Awesome. Awesome.
All right.
So, okay. Now we've been talking about icy and all that and cold. So let's dive into a little bit of how we care for the animals. Because we get asked that. How do you keep your animals warm and how do they deal with this weather? Because we're all accustomed to taking care of animals in a very, should I say, like, helicopter parent kind of way. Most people
sure.
with animals.
Well, most pets, we've bred out any ability for them to be able to survive on their own, right? Like, so, and most of us throughout our lives, the interaction that we have, unless we're on a farm, the interaction that we have with animals is with pets who have all survival instinct basically bred out. So, the thought when we get asked that question is typically, my beagle couldn't survive in that kind of cold, so how do your cows survive in that kind of cold?
Right.
I think is the thought there.
Okay, so let's talk about the littlest ones first, our feathered friends,
Poultry.
because a lot of people have chickens and they really do worry about them, especially anywhere north of North Florida.
Yeah, for sure. And we touched on it a little bit last week, but we'll go into a little more detail this week. The biggest thing really for all of the animals is water. They have to have access to water. And how you get them the water now, I think it varies based on the animal group, but water is the biggest deal. And with the chickens, it, I think, is a big deal for them because we don't do like the big troughs of water. You'll end up with birds falling in and freezing to death because now they're cold or wet. So the chickens, I don't know, some people, I've seen people do crock pots, plug in a crock pot. If you feel like
Backyard
having
chicken.
a crock pot plugged in your backyard, that's cool. We have a heated waterer, chicken waterer. Oh, did it break last year? We had a heated chicken waterer. The thing with those is they have to sit directly on the ground, and they're the way that they work, they plug in and the ground sort of radiates the heat back up to the tray and it keeps the water thawed. The thing for us is we don't have much flat ground at all. So those types of waterers don't work very well.
Yeah. Well, and for those are for a smaller amount of chickens than what we have. We need more water because there's about 200 chickens out there. But chickens handle the cold really well. They come with insulation. They have feathers, and feathers are one of the best insulators that there is out there. And we do not bring our chickens in. They're not in a coop. They stay in their chickshaw, just like you see on the screen there. We've got about 3 inches of snow there, and that's where the chickens are. They are out. They can roost inside their chickshaws, and what that allows for is their feet will grab the wood and roost, and then they will put their feathers over their feet as they're sitting down, and that keeps the most vulnerable part of them warm. So they just insulate their own feet with their feathers. And you'll see them. I saw them this morning. They're all fluffed out.
Yep.
And all of the air trapped within those feathers actually insulates them. So we have not ever, in this situation, we've never given our chickens actual heat.
No.
Now, when it's really cold, this is not really cold. When it's in the negatives, let's say we're like -13, we will take some straw and we will give them straw in their chickshaw, and we just put enough. It's open bottom because it's got the 1-inch hardwire in there. But if we put enough of it, it'll actually give them a really nice insulative base, and then they can get in there. And they were made instinctually to huddle up when they're cold. So they get in there, they huddle up, if you can keep the wind off of them, they're just fine. They can go down to all kinds of low temperatures.
And a lot of people say, I remember when we were working with Kevin and Sarah, when they were doing their lives, there were some comments about, my chickens won't go out in the snow. And that, we've heard that. We don't do anything for our chickens, so they go out in the snow like they have to get food and water. So they get used to it. Like they go out in the snow, they eat, they drink, they go get back in their houses. Like it's just not. They may not love it, but they will do it. Ducks, you mentioned the chickens. We've also had ducks on the farm. That's our ducks, and
ducks love it.
They love it.
Like they genuinely love it. The geese love it too.
They'll be out, we'll dump, we had little kiddie pools for them, and we would dump the ice out of the pools, fill it up with fresh water, and the ducks are out there splashing in the water. It's freezing cold. They're splashing. They're like totally insulated. They don't mind it at all. One
of the things that we do feel like is important for this style of farming is to allow, like right now, it's happening, to allow the animals to acclimate to the weather that's coming. So maybe they're not all prepared right this minute. It's been cooler, so they've been kind of putting on some extra fluff or some extra fur or extra fat. They have all been putting on their it's getting cold fur, and now it is, and now they really will. This has given them a little burst of cold is coming, and we allow them to stay out there. You need to acclimate. You were given all the tools within your body. God does it the way it was designed for you to keep yourself warm in cold temperatures. Now, when it gets extreme, we do make some different decisions.
And breeds do matter. Like there are some breeds of cattle that do really well in heat and don't do as well in cold.
Right.
So we took that into consideration as well with the climate that we knew that we were going to have a farm in when we chose the animals that we chose.
Yeah.
But as far as the birds go, even when we had guineas, the guineas would get... we put them in the same chickshaws. We had a guinea shaw and the
probably
chicken shaws.
One of the biggest issues that we actually run into. And now all of our chickens are big enough to be out there. Now, if they were little, if they were not feathered out completely, if they weren't big enough,
totally different story.
All babies are a different story. We're talking about the full growns. But the biggest issue that we run into when it's super cold is the eggs freezing because it's not climate controlled. If the eggs stay out there too long, we go out there and they're frozen and cracked open, and that's not cool for business.
Yeah.
But so when it's really, really cold, we'll run into that.
And at that point, we'll normally gather eggs a couple times a day. We'll get them about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then we'll go back out at about 3 and gather the rest of them. And typically, unless it's like really cold, they'll be fine.
So sheep, let's move to sheep.
Okay, sheep.
All right. So sheep come with natural, packaging. They wear wool. They do. They wear wool.
And wool is amazing because it retains its insulative properties even when it's wet.
Yeah.
So that's why like wool socks work, wool gloves work. In the military, all of the blankets are wool because even when it's wet, it still stays warm.
Yeah.
And sheep are wearing...
It's pretty miraculous.
They're wearing
wool.
wool.
Have that. Yeah, they're just wearing wool. Now, our sheep are hair sheep. They are not woolies. So the woolies, they're going to grow out their wool through the winter. They get sheared. Well, whenever they shear them, we don't shear sheep. I'm assuming when it's hot because I would want to be sheared when it's hot. Get this off of me by, a good mid-April. Yeah. So gotta go. Anyway, they grow their wool out for the winter. Now, ours are not woolly sheep. They do have wool, but it's short and they shed it. And so over the summertime, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, they shed last winter's wool, and they just look like, almost like a dog hair.
Yeah.
really. They call them hair sheep, but it's not hair, it's wool. It's just short. You don't have to shear them, they shed. So they do thicken up though, don't they?
Yeah. So here's a pic of the sheep in the snow. We had just unrolled some hay, so they don't mind
At all.
snow, cold at all. When it's like icy, rainy, we provide them like little houses if they don't have some trees or something to get in. Trees really for the sheep and the cows are great as far as
Windbreak.
shelter, windbreak, if you will. So I'll throw another picture up of a good example of what happens. This is actually what you want to see. So, a lot of people would say, oh my God, there's like snow on top of the sheep. And the answer is yes. What that means is their wool is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, and it's insulating their body from that cold snow. So it's such a good insulator that the snow isn't even melting. Like the snow is on the edge of the wool and it's cold, and then the sheep down inside that wool is just as warm as it can be.
That's really cool.
I would start to worry more if I went out and there were sheep that looked like this and then there were others that didn't. The others that didn't, I would want to be saying, what's going on? There's something not quite right if their skin and wool weren't doing that same type of thing.
Right. Yep. Now, before we move off of the sheep, we have to, again, a caveat. Lambs, completely different story. Lambs are fragile as all get out. Like they're so fragile. Lambs can be cold. They can be wet, but they can't be wet and they can't be wet and cold. If you have lambs in the winter, most people who have lambs in the winter, they have them in barns with heat lamps and a climate controlled situation. The first year that we had sheep, we ended up getting some that were already bred semi-unknowingly, and they were having lambs in the freezing cold in February in literally freezing rain. And we're watching lambs just basically freeze to death because we didn't have a lamb barn. We didn't have a place for them to be. And we knew in our plan, we were going to lamb
In the spring.
Come April, we want to lamb. We don't want to be lambing in the winter because it does require lambing barns and lambing jugs and all of these things.
Heat lamps
and hay. Yeah, it's really high maintenance than what it already is. And so we watched this happen, and then we knew full well that we were not equipped for that. It, of course, and it's not freezy cold all the time in Missouri. It comes and goes, and some of them it happened and it was okay, and then you get an ice storm. What do you do? Kind of deal.
We ended up with lambs in our little shed behind the RV where we were living at the time. We ended up with lambs in the RV
house
with us. I think, I don't know, it was 7 or 8 different lambs died on my lap in the RV.
It was hard.
it was
awful.
It was awful. It solidified.
No winter lambing.
We're not lambing in the winter.
We're not equipped for this. But at any rate, onesie twosies survived, but out of that, we knew really that lambs and cold do not mix.
Yeah.
At all. And so we're very intentional on lambing whenever it's a little bit warmer.
Oh yeah.
So there's a caveat to that. Now, once they're a little bit older, they can handle the cold. Like they can, but not little. When they're little, they're just ridiculously little.
Now, if you were wanting, like, I want a sheep operation, if that was your goal, then I would say probably set yourself up, size yourself so that you can have a barn for the sheep so that they can lamb in the cold. And if you do, you can have 2 sets of lambs every year. Mm-hmm. So sheep, their gestation period is 5 months. So you can really lamb them a couple, some people will do twice a year. Some people will do 3 times in 2 years. We do just once a year, right? But like if we had some better facilities, like if we were sheep focused, then we might have some different facilities and make it such that we could lamb in the colder weather. That is not what we're after. We're after a pasture-based regenerative system where our ruminants...
Honestly, when we first got our sheep, the use of the sheep was honestly to regenerate the pastures. We weren't intending on raising for eating lamb. We got the sheep because they're miraculous when it comes to pastures. And so we did get the rams. We're like, well, if we've got these ewes and we're dealing with them, we might as well get something out of them. Of course, that turned into a whole, it's a whole thing, lambs. But anyway, that's how we got here. We just wanted somebody to eat the grass and pee and poop.
Yeah.
There's a couple of questions. I think we need to get to some comments before we move on to piggies.
Okay. Let's see. More discussion on the YouTube has ads.
Yeah. Let's go to
Susie Q talking about the chickens. We used heat lamps, never had any issues. Mayor says, talking to my son John last night on the phone, he has 3 little peepers in the house to keep them warm because they don't have their big bird feathers yet.
Right. The little ones, totally different. We have to keep them warm. When we get chicks for meat, we typically start in March, and it's cold still. So we have them in a brooder. We've got the lamps on them. We've got blankets over the top of them to keep all the heat in. And so babies are completely different.
Yeah, for sure.
But our goal on this farm typically is when we hit this time of year, we don't want babies happening. Now
the piglets are
stretching it. What's happening right now is stretching it to my sort of disgruntledness. But the point is, by the time we hit November, we want full-grown adults, mostly.
Mary says, we winterized our chicken coops Saturday. Feed sacks, covered lots of wire openings. If the neighbors don't like the looks of them from the road, they can move.
Right.
And in past winters, sometimes our large comb roosters sometimes get frostbit. We have one black Australorp from 24 that we've called Slick from a really bad cold snap last winter. We have a rooster that does not have a comb also.
Yeah, same reason.
Same reason. He lost his comb.
Yeah.
And he's fine.
He's fine. He's Slick too.
We answered Carol's question about gathering eggs.
Yeah.
And then Firefox Kitty says, Happy Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you for your service. Oh, thank you. That was sweet.
It was. Okay. Moving on. Pigs. So many people won't raise feeder pigs through the winter at all. They want to get them in the spring, harvest them in the fall. And if you're a homestead and you're growing your own food, I highly recommend do it that way. Get yourself something in March, raise it out through the summer and into the fall, process it if you want to do it yourself. Cool. It's cooler then. And if not, take it in the fall, it's good and ready, and then you're not doing anything that we're having to do in the wintertime, right? But we do raise them out in the winter. We raise pigs all year long. Berkshire pork is one of our premium things that we sell at Air Ground Meats, so we keep it going. But we've learned that pigs are pretty dadgum tough.
Yeah, they're real tough. I'll throw a picture up.
Wowzers tough.
This is before we got Berkshires. This was back when we were still doing a Yorkshire cross. So these guys, you can see there's 5 or 6 of them laid in there. We have one pig shelter that we use typically when they're younger. These guys were older. They didn't need the shelter, but they will all pile on.
I've literally seen 10 full-size hogs in that thing.
Yes.
They will pile like nobody's
They
business.
all pile on top of each other, and the piglets do it as well. And I've showed pictures on here past Monday nights of the piglets. They all pile on top of each other, and they really stay warm. Mm-hmm. The other day, I was like, I don't know why they call it a dog pile, at school, because you should really call it a pig pile. Because, man, pigs,
how do they decide who's on top? Up. They'd be like, Bob, I was on top last night. Yeah, I want the warm spot tonight.
Yeah, it's amazing. Go out and feed the pigs on the really, really cold mornings, and they will come down the hill to eat, and steam will just be coming off of their backs. They're so warm.
Okay, so they don't always get that hut. What we do give them is a large round bale of hay. We talked about this last week, and the moms will nest and have them. But if there's no moms and they're just feeder pigs, and say they're mid-sized like those guys, they will just have a ball tearing that hay bale apart and then kind of digging around underneath it, make themselves a big old fluffy nest. And there will be a dozen full-grown pigs, and you won't even be able to see any of them because they get down in there, cover themselves up with it, and make themselves a nice little insulative, warm bed. And it's nature's like natural insulation is hay, straw, leafy stuff, on the ground.
Yeah.
And they naturally know what to do with it. And what you're talking about is they'll come down the hill from their hay bale.
Yeah.
And that you'll see them just coming out, like shaking off the hay. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen, really. And just steaming. And overnight, there I was, like laying in bed, worrying about if everybody's warm. And they come down the hill just like, I can't believe you got me out of bed for this.
Right. One of the tricks with the pigs, especially that we found in the wintertime, is continuing to feed them the fermented food. Before we were fermenting in the broken deep freezes that we're using now, there would be a few weeks at a time where we would have to stop feeding them the fermented feed because we just couldn't keep it thawed. And during those times when the pigs were eating just the dry food, they go through a lot more water. And in the wintertime, water is an issue. And a
couple of them got constipated.
Yeah.
Remember?
I do.
And you out there walking these hogs around.
So there's a little tidbit. How do you cure a hog from being constipated?
Right. How do you make your pig go poop? You have to take them for a walk.
Y'all,
literally.
You have to take them for a walk.
You got to make them move, just like people. You get up and move.
Get up and move.
Go for a walk.
Walk them around. Takes about 15 minutes, and they'll poop.
Yeah, and it really was a thing, but it was wintertime. They were on dry feed. They did have water, but clearly not enough for that.
Yeah.
To keep everything moving like it should.
So for the pigs, and then I'll go back to the sheep because we forgot to mention it. For the pigs, what we use is a large plastic trough. It's about, 18 inches high so that they're able to reach down into it. It's larger. It holds about 50, 60 gallons. And we break the ice off of the top of it, and they can have a drink. And then when we go back in the evening, we break the ice off the top of it again, and they can have another drink.
But you don't take the ice off.
I don't.
We make a hole.
The ice will actually keep the water underneath insulated. So if you break it all up, which is what we did initially, we're from Florida, y'all. We didn't know, right? But we would break it all up, and then all of the ice is just floating, and rather quickly it freezes over again, solid. If you break a hole out of it and remove the ice from that hole, it takes it longer to fill in that hole that you just broke out, and the pigs are able to get a drink. And we always have a waterer nearby, a frost-free waterer, and I'll show you that when we're talking about the cows. And we use the hoses that expand and contract, and we carry them around in a 5-gallon bucket. That bucket stays inside so that the hoses are always thawed. And we'll hook the hose up to the waterer, and we'll fill the troughs up. If we just can't get to it, we haul water in 5-gallon buckets to the troughs.
And that kind of stinks.
But that's how we keep them full.
Yeah, we do.
And for the sheep.
But honestly, they don't. But back to your fermented food.
Yep.
Before you move on to the sheep, what we found was when we moved to the freezers and they have really fermented, nice, wet. They get a lot of moisture out of their food. It reduces their need for water
A lot.
And the whole thing is just better. Last year was our first year using those freezers in the winter, and it was a huge game changer because the feed is almost warm.
Well, the feed is warm,
Right.
and which helps
Helps
warm them. And there's so much water in it already, they don't have to drink as much.
Right.
And when you're having, especially the times when we can't get to it with a water hose, when you're carrying 5-gallon buckets to fill up a 60-gallon trough, like
Yeah.
it matters.
Take the water with the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works really great.
Yeah. And with the sheep, we will do something similar. We'll use a shallower trough and break the ice off of the top.
We do a lot of ice breaking in the winter.
Last year, we had the sheep and the cows together, and we used a little thing. You've probably seen the advertisements. It's a little nipple that is called the freeze miser, and the temperature causes a valve to open. It's not plugged in or anything. It causes a valve to open, and it will spray water out as the temperature drops below 39 degrees. It starts dripping water, and then as it gets colder and colder, it will spray more and more water out. So
It worked.
If you have the ability to have pressurized water, I think it's good for 150 feet of hose. I had it on 200 feet of hose, and it still worked. The problem,
downside.
The downside is you're spraying quite a bit of water out. Like it kept the hose clear, it kept the trough clear, like all of that. It worked as advertised. But if you don't have a pipe or something to get it away from the watering area, if you're just spraying it out, you end up with a pretty good ice slick.
And a mess.
And a muddy
Just a
mess.
mess.
Yeah.
So it worked.
It does work.
As advertised, but it does cause secondary problems that I didn't really like, but it did work for what we were wanting
Where
to
the
do.
cows and sheep are, where we're going to have them this winter, we may try it because we can spray it and we can set up a trough and spray it into one of our little ravine areas.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll just sort of go away. So we may try the freeze miser again this year for the sheep. It works really well.
Maybe you mentioned, maybe we'll make sure it's spraying somewhere where it's.
That's what I'm saying. Spray it into the ravine instead of.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
I was thinking about beef cows.
Okay. We'll go on to your beef cows then.
Yeah, the pigs are good. They do winter really well. Beef cows. So we raise red Devon. And a neat thing about them is they have one of the thickest hides in cattle, period. And so in the winter, that is really beneficial. It keeps them quite warm. And it's really funny. People, well, what about the cows? And I'm like, if you were cold, what would you hope you had on? Some kind of hide, right? Some kind of leather, some kind of fur. And that's what these guys are wearing. And there's a picture of your cows covered in snow.
Again, same thing that I mentioned with the sheep and the wool. When you look out there and the cows have snow on their back, that means they're warm inside.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, those cows are not
they're doing
shivery,
just fine.
They're not cold. They're made for it.
Yeah, their whiskers will get little, icicles on them, but they're just fine.
Another reason is what the sheep, the ruminant animals, is the way their digestive system works.
It's a fermentation vat.
It's a fermentation vat. So it naturally, if they keep that thing full, they are producing their own heat within their rumen. It is literally fermenting their food. And so one of the tricks that we do is we will feed them, if we have to give them hay, which we do, and it's going to be super cold, we get into a habit of giving them their hay in the afternoon. And so around 3:30, we'll go out, give them a bale of hay. They're very happy. They're interested. They eat, they start eating and fill that tank up. And then overnight, they will be fermenting what they just ate. Their bellies are full. They have to digest and do all of that. And so that helps keep them warm as well.
Yeah.
They like to eat straw too. Like there's things that you can give them.
Yeah,
that
just
help.
Plain straw. Not a whole lot of nutritional value to it, but they will eat it when how they know, I don't know.
I don't know how they know what
But
they know.
they'll eat it when it's getting really cold. They'll eat it, and it burns a little bit hotter as it's fermenting, and really helps keep them warm. We also make sure that they have trees. Cedar trees there's a bunch of them in this area, and about the only thing that I think they're good for, at least standing up, is as shelter for the cows and sheep.
Whether it's shade in the winter or shade in the summertime, or wind blocks and snow block in the winter. Cedar trees really do a good job at that.
So we make sure that when it's getting really cold, the cows and the sheep have access to a wooded area, and all of our wooded areas have cedars in it, and they get up inside the cedars, and again, they're just fine. When it's really cold, they'll huddle up as a group. Also, they'll make a circle and huddle in tight.
Yeah,
and
turn their noses and just really honestly huddle.
Noses towards the middle. They'll all be standing in a circle, keeping each other warm. They do a great job. And then for the cows, for water, what we have, you've heard us mention it already tonight, is frost-free waterers. We have one of the balls pulled out of this one.
Those balls float.
It's not winter time. We pull the balls out so that the young calves, before they're, old enough to really know what's going on, they can go get a drink without having to fuss with or learn how to push the balls down. So what the cows will do is they learn rather quickly that they push that ball down that's floating. They push it down, they get a drink of water, and as soon as they move their head, the balls just pop right back up into place, and those balls then insulate the water underneath it and keep it from freezing. A handful of times this will be our 5th winter, so a handful of times we have had to go out and break the balls loose, because
mostly that was like freezing rain, right? Or you have a weather event, and then it'll thaw and then refreeze. So it'll be those times.
And the cows are really strong, so they can most days they will keep those balls broken free, even if there's freezing rain. There have just been a couple of times where it's, like an ice storm type thing, where we've had to go out and really
pretty brutal. Be
pretty aggressive and break those balls loose. But then once you do, then the cows keep it going. I think once the actual water itself froze.
But it wasn't being used.
Right.
That was like when it's flowing, when the cows are using it and the water is changing over, it's fine. But when we went to negative like 25, the whole thing's froze.
Yeah. And if you look at it, it's black. So with any kind of solar radiation happening, like if the sun is shining, that thing will warm up pretty quick.
Let's move on to the princesses.
So the dairy cows, the biggest thing for them is, I think, again, they have to have access to water. Your dairy cows, lactating beef cows, yes, but your dairy cows, boy, they
go through the water. It doesn't
We're
matter
talking,
what time of year it is.
30-ish plus gallons of water a day. Mm-hmm. So you really do not want to be carrying water to a dairy cow. Like 5 gallon buckets of water to a dairy cow just doesn't work, right?
So they're right behind the house here, and that's where the water. That's the water that broke. So we're a little bit on a time crunch. So in the morning, it has to be fixed. They're not going to drink a lot overnight, but in the morning, it's whether we have water or not. To be quite honest, is kind of doesn't really matter. Those girls don't have water. Oh, they have it. It's full. Yeah. It'll last them through the night and in the morning. But by tomorrow midday, it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, for sure.
And it will be fixed. But water's paramount when it comes to jerseys making milk.
Yeah.
Y'all.
So we've done a couple of videos on our milk machine. Our our particular machine, we have a Melasti. We love it. It freezes in the really cold weather, and it
We
won't
don't
work.
know why.
Kevin and Sarah's doesn't. Theirs is a slightly smaller version of the one that we have, and that version doesn't freeze. Ours does. So, like, that's one thing with the girls that is a little bit different to us, is that we're constantly doing things with the milk machine itself. We want the milk area to be out of the wind, so that's important, and we give them a place out of the wind to get. Did we add a?
Oh no, did I not get it there?
No, we didn't add that pic. Anyway,
Whoops. Well,
we've
they
got
have
it.
So most of you have seen where we're building on with the rabbit barn on down from it. We have the milking area, and then the far side of it is a stall where the calves go in at night when we do milk share, or calf share, or whatever you want to call it. But when it's really bad, we'll open that up. Especially right now because there's no calves in there, and let the big cows get in there to get out of the wind and stay warmer if they choose to. A lot of times we'll go, oh, open that up, and they don't.
They really don't go in.
They don't.
So they
get fur too.
Yeah, they're much the same as the beef cows. Their fur gets thicker. It gets curlier. Like there's more air that gets trapped there in the fur, and they acclimate from a winter coat perspective. Also, some things that we do is, like, we don't put teat dip on them when it's really cold, because that can give their teats frostbite.
Clean it with a warm rag.
Yeah, we clean it with a warm rag instead of the teat dip. Outside of that, that's really about it, I think, for the dairy cows.
Yeah, about the same as the beef cows, but just making sure they have somewhere to get out of the weather. But we don't. Again, no heat, because climate change, like intense climate change, if you go from, well, we all know if you go from being outside where it's super freezing cold to a warm area, all of your nerve endings and your vascular system and everything it's very stressful for it.
Yeah.
And so we don't, it is what it is.
We don't heat the dairy barn.
No, it's not. No, there's no heat happening.
Yeah.
Hence the fact that the milk machine freezes and we have to bring it inside.
Yeah, that.
How about your LGDs, your livestock guardian dogs?
So our livestock guardian dogs, this is a couple of the puppies that were born here on the farm. This is Tozer and TJ. TJ's at another sheep farm just down the road from us right now. He's working at their farm. Tozer's working at our farm. They are an Anatolian Shepherd Great Pyrenees cross. A great guardian dog.
Fantastic
and
dogs.
They love cold weather.
We've given them houses. We've given them houses with bales of straw. We have given them you can see a little house behind them. You think they get in it? No,
they do not.
They do in the summertime.
Yeah.
In the summertime,
they want shade.
They want shade. Because they have a lot of fur and they're big dogs. In the winter, they sleep out on the snow.
They do not want in the shelter in the wintertime.
And their fur's so thick.
It's snowing. They don't want in it. They want to be out in the snow. We have one of our females named Lucy is black. And, man, she just loves it when it finally cools off. Mm-hmm. And even ice, like, go break the ice off of their water and she'll go get in the water.
Yeah. It's wild.
They love the cold weather.
Yep, they do. And so they're very easy to take care of. Really?
Same thing, got to make sure they have access to water. And they're often in a place where they're either with the sheep and have access to water, or we're carrying them a 5-gallon bucket of water from the house.
Yeah, typically.
One of the two.
Yeah, typically they're with an animal group that already has water. Like, primarily.
And they eat a little bit more. Surprisingly, the Anatolian Shepherds, they have a very low metabolism, and they eat surprisingly
small amount
for their size. Like, we had a Great Dane once, and it ate a lot, like lots and lots. And these guardian dogs eat way less than that.
But they're meant to be outside. They are outside. They're not wild dogs, but they're not inside dogs.
They're certainly not pets.
But they are not pets.
It has not been bred out of the guardian dogs.
No, they totally know how to take care of themselves in all of the ways. And they stay out there. We don't give them any access to heat. They're
very
fine.
confusing to them if you bring them inside.
They would
If you brought
Very
them
confusing
inside
for me
because
too.
it was cold and then put them outside because you wanted them to guard,
Yeah.
that type of thing is confusing to them. For a guardian dog, if you're bringing it inside, it really should be because it's retired and it's no longer guarding for you. They live to be about 8. Most of them somewhere around 6.5. They get to where they're not really guarding anymore. And so a lot of people will bring them in at that point, like to the barn or something, and then on the porch, and they become a pet for their last year or so. But when they're working, it is very confusing for them if you're trying to bring them in and take them out. That is not their life, man. Their life is out there with the animals. Whatever elements the animals are in are the elements that your guardian dogs are in. And really treat them mentally. They are livestock, right? They are not pets. You don't baby them like you do your
Inside.
poodles,
Yeah.
they are definitely livestock.
We also have barn cats, and historically, our barn cats they take care of themselves as well. Yes, we put feed for them because we want to keep them here. We right now are a little overrun with them, and we need to find some homes for some of them because it seems like we go in cycles.
We do.
Where we'll only have it like onesie, twosie, threesie, and then the next thing you know, it kind of explodes, and then we kind of farm them out, if you will, to other people who want to have barn cats, mousers. Yeah. So we don't typically do anything with them either. They're around the barn. They'll curl up and get up on top of something, get in the feed, and on the
we have
on
lots
the
of
big
freezers
bags
running in the barn as well, and the freezers generate heat.
They'll find heat there too,
Yeah.
and so they're just they're wild as well, and they take care of themselves in the cold. They can get out. They can get out of the cold if they want to.
Yeah, for sure.
In the barn.
Yeah. So I think bottom line really for all of the animals, winter is difficult for water. That's the biggest issue for me, at least.
Worrying about water all the time.
My hands get cold and the animals need water. That's winter for us. And they're really the mindset shift so that you can sleep well at night is they're not pets.
Yes.
You don't have to think of them and worry over them like you would your pet, right? They are livestock.
Yeah. And as long as they're in an environment that's natural for them,
yeah,
right? As long as they have plenty of water and they're well fed.
Yeah.
Being well fed is important because that gives them the energy that they need in order to keep their bodies warm.
Some amount of shelter.
Right. Something to get out of the elements.
Wind is probably the biggest thing.
deal. Yeah.
Some type of windbreak is very very good. We did have
Let's get to a couple comments before we end here.
Couple of comments. We've got Phil saying, use a small air pump to keep an open area on my koi pond. Moving water doesn't freeze as fast.
Right.
Very true. That
cool.
is very true. Carol says, do you have to be concerned if the fields are icy? Is there any concern for the cows falling? Not sure if that's an issue or not. They will slip, but we haven't had anybody
fall from ice.
No.
Happy fell that one day, but she was running down the hill so fast it was wet. She was coming after her groceries. Remember, she kind of slid. But we've never had a cow fall from ice.
On four legs, they really do balance a lot better than we do. And they walk very carefully when it starts getting slick. The sheep do the same thing.
And if it's slick like that, we're limited as well. So where we can put the hay, while we are hilly, we will strategically position because we unroll all of it, we have to put ourselves in a way that it's okay. And so we have not had inches of ice to where it has been to where we can do it, and get it to somewhere flat enough that the cows are fine.
Mayor asks, have you ever considered sending the hides to be tanned as another source of revenue?
So we can't get the hides from our processor. If we did it, there are ways that we could, but since our beef is typically USDA processed, that all goes, that's part of the processing, and we don't get that back. Heads, feet, hide, those types of things. I have a feeling that's brokered out somewhere else.
Yeah.
Somebody's making money on it. They're not throwing it away.
I haven't talked to our processor, but I do know that other processors
have
it's sold to China where it's tanned and sent back to us as leather goods.
Yeah. So like we could in other ways, but not from them.
Susie Q says, do you ever worry about hunters? You saw that Arms family homestead lost their shepherd dog to a bow and arrow. It was so sad.
Didn't see that. I know who you're talking about. No. Not recently.
When we first got here, we had there was a group of hunters that used beagles and other hound dogs, and they hunted coyotes. Mm-hmm. And hunting dogs have legal access to everyone's property in the state of Missouri unless they are harassing livestock, at which point you are authorized to protect your stock. So I have gotten into verbal altercations with some of the hunters.
Tense
conversations as I explained to them that if their dogs chased my cows again, I would be removing their dogs forcibly from my property. So
he tried to say that you couldn't do that. You said, yes, I can bring the game warden if you want to. And the man never came back because he knew it was wrong.
Yeah. So that was the last time we've really had any issues with
any kind of particular hunting.
Yeah.
Our neighbors that surround us, most of them have cattle or we know them. And we're friends-ish with most everybody around us. So no, we haven't had anybody coming onto our property or anything. We haven't felt anything like that. No.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. And then Susie Q says, we should watch the video. Gotcha.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, before we end, first of all, thank you guys for being here. Before we end, I just want to make a really quick shout out, another plug. We were able to sit down with Kevin and Sarah from Living Traditions Homestead and kind of dug into what they're doing a little deeper than their most recent update. So that will be coming out on Wednesday. So make sure to check that out.
That is on the Duster Mud podcast channel, other channel.
But you did collaborate it. So if
I did,
in the event you see something that looks like it on the Air to Ground Farms channel,
that's true.
It'll be available there. Also, they did, I believe it'll be collaborated onto Living Traditions Homestead channel. So you can find it in a couple of places, and it was a great conversation. They're doing really well, and I just hope you guys look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a fun chat.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess until next week.
Yeah. Appreciate you hanging out with us tonight for another Monday Night Live.
Absolutely. And until next week, bye, y'all.
Bye.